Hey guys, Woods Farm here, Project 222, just back out in the shop working on the Scout car. Today we're going to work on some loose ends, specifically working on some of the seam welding and trim work on the rear engine deck, so stick around and check it out. Okay guys, I think I mentioned in the last video that we had some loose ends to finish up, specifically working on some of the seam welding for the rear engine deck. So we're going to start that in this video. I also got some trim work to do on the engine deck. I want to add that, finish everything off, so that's just off the list and completed before we move on to some other parts of the project. So we still have some seams to finish up on the welding, both on the main engine deck and also on the drop-down hatch. And I have some of the trim installed, but it's just tacked in place. I've got some finish welding to do and some grinding to finish this all off. And I also think I'm going to add trim to the two side openings. So let's get started. You seen me change the wire spool there. I ran out early on, and I was using the Yes welder, and I switched it out for the Lincoln, which is what I have available. I've got quite a bit of this Lincoln. It's at Canadian Tire. The Yes welder is off of Amazon, I believe. I seen someone review it, and they said it was pretty good. And I have to say, after using it, I do believe the Yes welder is actually a little bit better than the Lincoln. It's a little less splattery, a little smoother, and I believe it's actually a bit cheaper. So I'm definitely going to switch over. Definitely like the Yes welder wire. Okay guys, that was a lot of welding, a little bit of grinding, but you can see now I have the engine deck off, and I also did some welding on some of the parts around the engine. But I think as I finish the engine deck, I'm also going to take this opportunity to work on the cooling system. That may be in the next video, but I will change that water pump and do all that work while the engine deck is off. Obviously, it's going to be a lot easier. In the meantime, I'm going to keep working on the engine deck. I've got some more seam welding and some edge welding to do and a little bit of grinding to finish everything up before we go ahead and prime it. When I was taking the engine deck off, I noticed something. This rad hose here, you can see right there, it's kinked just a little bit right in this area here. It just, over time, I think it just started to sag down a little bit, and I may even be leaking in here because it's just had some stress on it. It needs to be kind of like in this position, and I think maybe a bracket from coming down from here or maybe from the back just to kind of hold it up and support it will help. I may have to replace this hose, but I think the bracket's important. So while I'm working back here, I'm going to go ahead and make that piece. I think it'll help the cooling system a lot. Hey guys, just a shout out to Metal Pros. This is where I get my material. These guys are really awesome. They got a great website. You can order online and make an order. They'll always have the material cut the next day, and you can do small orders. So I've been dealing with these guys for years, and I'm really happy with the service. Okay guys, just got back from town. We unloaded the material we got at Metal Pros. You can see I've got that 4x8 sheet of 18 gauge cold roll. That's going to be used to finish off the toolbox. Also picked up some 3/4 inch angle iron and some 3/4 inch flat bar, and that material is going to be used to finish the trim work on the rear engine deck. And we're also going to start constructing the grenade baskets and doing the trim on the turret. Also made a trip into Canadian Tire, and I picked up some supplies there. I've got some coolant. When we get around to doing that water pump, I'm going to drain the cooling system and I flush it. So we need some new coolant. Also picked up some other materials, a Scotch-Brite sanding disc. Was watching a video online, and a guy said these are actually better than the normal stripping discs. I've been using the ones from Canadian Tire. They're pretty expensive. They're about 20 bucks. And apparently these Scotch-Brite ones, they're both the same price on Amazon, but apparently they're better than the other ones that you get. They don't gum up, and they actually do a better job. So we're going to try that out. So I think first things first, I want to cut down this 4x8 sheet. I'm going to use the patterning from the toolbox, lay it out, and I'll cut out the pieces. That way I don't have a huge piece of material that I got to move around the shop. And then I think after that, we're going to go back to working on the trim for the rear engine deck. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap this video up here. We went a little long and I got a little sidetracked. As you can see, I actually started working on the toolbox. I started cutting out the material for it and I decided to just go for it, and I actually started to clad it and get the back on, made the shelves. So it's a really good start on getting the box completed. We'll work on the doors and the lid in a future video. I definitely want to get to finishing up the engine deck. I was supposed to do that in this video, but we got sidetracked. That'll happen in the next video. We'll get the trim work done on the engine deck, get that finished up. I'm going to do that bracket for the rad hose, and we're going to also eventually get to the cooling system and do the upgrades, the water pump and all that stuff. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and as always, thanks for watching.